Okay, so either God's trying to tell me that He wants shorter videos, or somebody's watching me. This is like the fourth video since yesterday, fifth video. I've got cut off early, and I'm actually going to use it to my advantage because I've been feeling like I've been wanting to do shorter videos anyway. I don't know if someone's watching me that's working. I mean, I'm like, it's not like I got a lot of subscribers or anything. So I don't know why it keeps cutting off. Um, but I'll try to keep my videos down to about 20 minutes, at least on here, on the cell phones. But anyway, I want to read some scripture to you guys. I'm going to start off at verse 8 of Matthew 24. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay, so at that point, I think the tribulation period has started. I always thought verse 8 would be the start of the tribulation period in Matthew 24. It says, then shall you be delivered, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. So I want to stop there because that's really important where we're at right now. You see the speech that the president gave us was pretty hard on the ears. And it's almost like he was trying to divide the nation. Then you kind of think about things like that. And then it says you will be offended. Now, we've been through a summer of woke, and people are getting offended for the many things, and people are being making themselves out of victims. And we don't really think about it, but to me, all the things that we went through in 2020 was a method to divide and conquer. And Satan is dividing and conquering, trying to place certain classes against certain classes. Now, when you look at the Titanic, I know it's just a ship, but the Titanic had the middle class, the upper class, and the poor class. And the upper class, they have a drunk guy guiding the ship, running right into a iceberg. Now, some people said that didn't really happen. Could have been an inside job. Who knows? Maybe they had an insurance policy or something. But that's just me speaking out of ignorance. I don't know. But the Titanic is kind of a symbol of the United States. They say no one can sink it. And I think people don't think the United States can sink. I've met a lot of people. I was in the military, so I go on the street and I'm talking to people, and I'm telling them, hey, the United States, we're blessed. We're blessed. And I don't think people think we're blessed. Every Thanksgiving, families fight all over they fight. They wait for Thanksgiving to fight. Thanksgiving is just that, Thanksgiving. You're thankful for what you have. And that's how you can tell people don't think the United States is sinkable, because you wait to Thanksgiving to fight with your other family members. I mean, you can do it on 4th of July. The devil's going to show up and make sure you fight on Thanksgiving, because you should be thankful. A lot of people don't think of Thanksgiving as a godly holiday, but to be thankful, you should be thankful for everything you have, But anyway, so we're living in the last moments of time, and for the most part, people are offended. Even when you tell them about Jesus and tell them that he can be coming back, people get offended with the end time message. People are offended. You hear family members want to yell at and scream at you and slam doors because you're trying to tell them that, hey, time's short and Christ can return at any moment. You need to get ready. Are you judging me? Why you keep bringing up that? Why you keep bringing this? I don't understand, you know. And then and then they have ways of coming back to you, pointing out things that they want to do in the future, and then they want you to clap about it. I say, oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, I'm glad you're doing that. Fine. But they don't realize that they're keeping their eyes on the world and setting themselves up for to be left behind because they're, you know. I heard a lady today. I'm changing the subject because I guess I'm kind of in what they call it, shock mode for getting cut off of YouTube every 5 minutes. But this lady was saying, are all believers going to go in the rapture? And I think people need to really take a serious look at the Bible instead of just listening to each other, because that's all they're doing is listening to each other and maybe reading a couple of scriptures and then putting the Bible down. You need to keep the Bible in your hand and meditate on it, because the Bible is going to tell you that all Christians are not going to make the rapture of the church. As a matter of fact, Jesus was approached by the disciples and they said, are few people going to make heaven? And that's in some translations, there's few people. And then there's another translation that said they start off with many people going to make. Are many people going to make it? And he says few will make it. To strive to enter in through the straight gate. That's a narrow way. And the narrow way, the only thing I can see of a narrow way would be sin. Sin would always be the focus point. And I remember looking at Facebook, and then on a post, a guy had a cartoon, and the guy was trying to get through security through an airport, and he had all of these baggages all the way stacked up to the ceiling. And on these baggages, it says envy, strife, jealousy, pornography. And he's trying to get through the narrow security gate. And that pretty much is what it's all about. And when Christ comes back, you have to get yourself cleansed. You have to go before the Lord. He's the only one who can cleanse you of these things, but you have to take it to the Lord. You can't just assume because you got saved and you said a sinner's prayer once that he's going to, you're going to be okay. And that's what the lady was saying. Well, since I said a prayer 20 years ago, and God just forgave me at that point, so I never have to say I'm sorry. So if you get married to a wife and you guys get in an argument, every time y'all get in an argument, you got to say I'm sorry. Somebody got to say I'm sorry to start it off. And people don't understand that. Anyway, I just wanted to say that, cut these videos short, so how many minutes I got? I'll take it to a few more minutes. But I just wanted to say is that, you know, it's not easy being raptured. We have to kind of understand that God has his ways. God, you know, God respects obedience. He does not respect us coming to church and giving sacrifices and then throughout the week living like the devil. So God gives us power to overcome sin. And we must enter into that power. He says, be strong in the power of God's might. Put on the whole armor of God. But being strong in the power of God's might means that he will give you victory just like he gave the Israelites victory over various things. So if you know Christ is coming back in the near future, you're going to stand before God and give an account. Then you get yourself right with God. That's what the month of Elul is on the Hebrew calendar. It's actually God's calendar. The Hebrew calendar says in the month of Elul that people get ready for Christ's return, and they get themselves right with God. It says in Malachi chapter 3 verse 2, who can stand when the Lord appears? And then it says, it starts to describe God. And it starts to describe Jesus. He is like a pillar soap or a refining fire. He's the one who purifies us. It says in 1 John 1:9 that he is faithful and just to cleanse us of all unrighteousness. And that's how God is. He's a cleanser. He cleanses people. He gives people strength to live a life pleasing to him. And people who are going to be raptured, he says it, and people ignore everything. And then they say it sarcastically. Oh, he's coming for a church without spot or blemish. That's not true. And it's like, well, explain it then. Explain it. Explain why is he coming for a church without spot or blemish. Can you get God to forgive you of any sins that you can think of? But you have to stop it? So if you know Jesus is coming back and had a possibility of coming back on the Feast of Trumpets, why would you dangle? Why would you dangle? Why would you let your mind go adrift? Why would you go to the casino? Why would you go take a couple of swigs of drinks when you know he's coming back? You're a fool. Fools don't learn from anything. They despise knowledge. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. There's also distorted knowledge. You have distorted knowledge. You think you're good because some other preacher told you you're good, and they call you sinners. You're sinners. Everybody in here is a sinner. You're a sinner. You're just a sinner. You're going to go home and sin. I sin all the time. I'm going to take a swig. Well, you go ahead and think like that, and I'll keep thinking like I'm thinking. And let's see who comes out on top. It's not a competition, but at the same time, I'm just making a point. You think you're going to be okay by carrying sins into heaven, and I think I'm going to be okay by giving God my sins before I go to heaven. So these are one of those days where everything comes. I can hear these dogs upstairs. I live in an apartment building because it was so hard to get a new house. But it's a nice apartment building, but these dogs upstairs are just love your neighbors yourself. You're talking about somebody be tested. I went and already talked to them before. I said, hey, you guys, them dogs make a lot of, they be barking and howling. And I was just like, oh, goodness gracious. God, give me, and I got vertebra or whatever the heck the disease called. The balance is off. So I had to ask God. I said, God, give me strength. Anyway, let me get off of here for YouTube. Decide to cut this video out too. Y'all have a blessed morning, and I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.